Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Since St. James became Jamaica's crime capital in the early 2000s, the parish has produced one of the nation's most notorious gangsters. In fact, there has never been a year in recent times that the parish has not recorded over 100 murders and have at least 10 men on the nation's most wanted list. While renowned gangsters such as Omar King Eve Lewis and Upton Sandokan Brown has had the dubious distinction of being most wanted in Jamaica and in the United States at the same time, their level of notoriety pales in comparison to some of the parish's homegrown gangsters. One such gangster was Ratty Peterkin, who took the Cambridge community in eastern St. James by storm in 2017. He was so bold that he declared a section of the community off limits to the police. In fact, in an interview I did with a police officer from the Cambridge police station, he told me, "Every jeep up at police station have a bullet hole in night, and a Ratty and him friend them put them in a them." Prior to his demise in April 2018, Ratty and his Trigger Happy gang at Cambridge and the neighboring retreat community under siege, robbing, looting and murdering with impunity, showing very little regards for the police. In one incident, members of the gang ambushed a police patrol and the officers had to jump from the vehicle and run for their lives as the gangsters peppered the vehicle with bullets. In his brazen show of defiance, Ratty declared Madeleine in the heart of the Cambridge community off limits to the police and instruct residents to inform him promptly whenever a police vehicle entered the area. In Madeleine, which he had established as his base, he regularly kept parties where shots were fired with impunity as the gangsters feasted on food and liquor which they extorted from supermarkets and farmers in the area. It was a result of one of those parties that Ratty fell flat on the radar of the police and the military. This was in November 2017 when he murdered 3 women who had taken issue with him stealing their goats to provide meat for one of his parties. To make the killings even more brutal was the fact that 2 of the victims were said to be blood relatives of Peterkin. In this edition of Lest You Forget, we will be revisiting the story of the triple murder from a story I wrote for the Gleaner, which was published on November 20, 2017, under the headline, "Cambridge Under Brutal Siege, 3 women murdered in 72 hours. The story read as follows. The community of Cambridge in southern St. James is now under siege as gangsters have murdered 3 women in less than 72 hours and are said to be regularly firing at police vehicles that venture into crime bases such as Madeleine. In the first incident, which took place shortly after 11 p.m. on Saturday, the assailants were said to be members of the notorious Ratty gang, which is led by wanted man Ratty Peterkin, invaded a house on Madeleine and shot 44-year-old Anne-Marie Johnson and her 24-year-old daughter Chantal Mackenzie. In the second incident, which happened shortly after 11 a.m. yesterday, 17-year-old Roxanne Daly, a recent graduate of Cambridge High School, was shot dead as she walked along MacLeod Road towards her mother's house. Regarding Saturday night's killing, the resident said the mother and daughter had angered the gangsters by complaining about goats and chicken they had stolen from them and slaughtered to provide food at a party they recently kept in the area. Them kill woman and her daughter because them talk about them chicken and goat with them thief, a resident told the Gleaner yesterday. You see down a Madeleine, a bad man run down there. Every time police try to go down there, the man them run them out with pure gunshot. A police officer confirmed that since October, the gangsters have shot up police vehicle on 3 separate occasions. As proof, he pointed to a bullet hole on the left side of one of the service vehicles assigned to the Cambridge police station. Them boy the brazen, and because we short staff, them have we like sitting ducks. Master Ratty and him boy them a destroy the community. so the authorities need to send in reinforcement, the policeman told the Gleaner. The other day, 8 of them with big gun back up 4 police and the squad of them have to jump out of the vehicle and run for their life. According to the residents, the gangsters who operate between Cambridge and the neighbouring Retreat community have openly walked the street with rifles. They have even created an illegal tool to extort money from motorists. Right now, people in some lanes have been instructed to call the gangsters whenever they see the police enter in those lanes, said the resident. That is why they are able to ambush the police so often and then get away. It is believed that the state of emergency that was declared in St. James in 2018 was declared primarily on account of what was going on in the Cambridge area. However, with the police and the military targeting Cambridge, Ratty and his gang fled to Westmoreland and neighbouring St. Elizabeth. It was on the St. Elizabeth-Westmoreland border that Ratty met his demise. The officers who had tracked him down to the Berkshire community confronted him, and as was customary, he engaged them in a gunfight. However, this time he did not leave the scene alive as he was cut down in a hail of bullets. As the lawman silenced both his M16 assault rifle and a .38 revolver that he had in his possession. Like many men who had walked a road of badness before him, Ratty, who was in his early 20s, had come to the belated realization that badness is the gateway to an early grave. In looking back at the bloody reign of Ratty Peterkin, there is no question that his story is one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Frater. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.